Welcome to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
757, where we discuss real estate,
culture, and current events.
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing, Sophia?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Doing great. It's middle of January. It's freezing outside.
It is.
I think this was the coldest morning I remember so far. I remember looking when I was, getting up. I seen it said we were in the teens.
Yeah.
It was like 18 degrees, I think, when I looked at my phone.
Yeah,
so.
I went to the gym this morning, and when I went outside, it kind of shocked me. You open the door, you walk out, you're like, oh, no, wait.
That brick smacked you right in the face.
Yes. I was like, oh, no, wait, hold on. I got to rethink this. But the only reason why I ended up going so early is because we had to record this morning.
Understood.
So, yeah, I'm here. I made it. Well, we do have a special guest today.
Oh, yeah.
So our guest, Mr. James Jenkins, right? I said that right?
JJ.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
correct.
JJ. Anybody call you JJ at all or not?
Well, they used to call me LJ because I'm a junior.
Junior.
Oh,
So JJ
okay.
was always going to be reserved for my dad.
Understood.
Okay,
Understood.
all right. James is a licensed real estate agent with Iron Valley. Is it real estate? Is that the full name?
Real Estate, Hampton Roads.
Okay, all right. And you are a part of a team. What's the name of the team that you're on?
The Allegra team.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
Like the
100%.
you said Allegra, like
The allergy medicine?
No. Allegra. So it's AU because it's the gold.
Okay.
The symbol for gold.
Oh, okay.
And then Allegra the story is because it's from like Dominican. It means standard. So Allegra.
Gold standard.
Oh, gold standard.
Okay.
That's dope.
That's
dope.
whoever came up with that. Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Okay. And you are also a retired military.
Yes, I'll be officially retired after 26 and a half years from the greatest Navy in the world, March 1st of 2025. So
Okay.
I'm currently on terminal leave, and I'm loving life.
I see. That's
Ain't nothing like getting paid
Man, it's
and not having to go to work.
It's beautiful. Wake up and just, and I'm good. It's a
Yeah.
paycheck. So
Yeah.
yes.
That's what's up.
Well,
Congratulations
welcome.
too early too, bro.
Yeah.
That's what's
Appreciate
up,
it.
man.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. So moving forward, what you had going on this past couple weeks?
Let me see. Last couple weeks, I had my son. He had a basketball game Sunday. They won. It was a good game. It's funny because they only have a couple of teams in the league, so it seems like they're going to be playing kind of the same teams for the mainly for the whole season or whatnot. It's only a handful of them, but it was a good game. They won. I think it was like 20 something to like 6, and it was crazy because we had my son. He did well. The first game he had scored 10 points. In this game, I think he scored 6 points, and so he got like their little award at the end of the game because every week they have a word of the week. And then they actually have the coach will give them an award for the person who exemplified that word of the week. And so the word this week was enthusiasm. And my son, he's like me. Like when I played sports, I was very talkative, trying to, be communicative with the team and everything like that. And so he got the award for that. So that was pretty cool. And it was funny because he likes Steph Curry, basketball player, right? And so I got him some Steph Curry shoes. So that's what he plays in this year. And Steph Curry has this thing when he scores at the end of the game, he goes like this. He puts his hands like this, like he's putting the team to sleep, right? That's like his little thing. And so my son did that in the game, and the referee kind of got on him a little bit because like sportsmanship or whatever.
Right,
taunted and everything like that or whatnot. So it was crazy because my son was he was shook up about it a little bit because he was he thought that was a cool thing to do. You know what I'm saying? So I had to have a father-son type of conversation about understanding when and where and the time and place of doing certain things, or whatever. So it was pretty cool. I feel like it was a moment of growth right there. So that was pretty dope. Let me see what else that happened recently. I will say, I guess it hasn't happened yet, but something I'm excited for is my sister. She's getting married this weekend. So I have a younger sister, Diamond. And she's getting married on Sunday.
Diamond's getting a diamond.
Diamond, yeah. Well, she already got the diamond. Yeah, she already got the diamond. Yeah, she's just, I guess it's the whole shebang with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like the biggest thing that's going on in our household right now. Just the last minute preparation. I mean, she's brought by like she got like extra furniture and stuff because, you know, her and her fiance, you know, are like moving in together now and everything. So like I'm storing a whole bunch of like sofas and stuff in my house. So they were by here this weekend, and we got like a surprise dance that we're doing at the wedding. So like we were practicing that as well.
Wait. A surprise dance that you're telling about right now.
I mean, by the time this aired, I mean, you know, it already happened. You know what I mean? So we're fine.
The wedding on Friday?
It's on Sunday. Yeah, it's on Sunday.
Nah, this gonna air before that.
I mean, if it does air,
surprise.
Hey, look, if it does air, I know my parents. They not gonna hear it between now and then. Okay. You know what I mean? So that's really who the surprise is for my parents.
Oh, okay, okay.
But yeah. So we're excited about that. That's kind of like the biggest focus that's been going on. I would say in our household recently, man. And let me think. Was there anything else that I saw that came up recently that we've done? I mean, not pretty much it. Just been working for real. I mean, it's been super busy. I would say this year has been extremely busy, at least for me, I can say, with just meetings and just, you know, loans and things of that nature. You know, what about you, Sophie? What you been up to?
So it was my daughter's birthday on January 5th. But that particular weekend we had she had tournaments all weekend. So we pretty much was in Virginia Beach from the morning until like the early evening. And we didn't get a chance to celebrate until last weekend. So this past weekend, I rented one of the igloos at the Sweet Spot in Virginia Beach on Providence.
I still ain't been there yet, too, man.
They have these igloos. And so I rented one for her and her friends to go into it. And then after the 2-hour time frame was up, I had a party bus come and pick them up. And then it took them to the Apex Center in Virginia Beach Town Center. They got out, they hung out there, and then they got back on the party bus and it brought them back to the Sweet Spot and dropped them off. So, and I let them go alone. I didn't chaperone. So,
and I think you said Sweet 16 too, right? This
yeah,
is
she turned 16 years old.
That's the big one. Yeah.
So she had a good time, and then she got a lot of good gifts. One in particular, I mean, she came home that night and put together. Somebody got her like this orchid Lego set. And orchid is my favorite flower. And so she was so excited to put that one together. And then as soon as she put it together, she came and got me and was like, look. And yeah. I was like, it looks good. I like that one. But that was her favorite. I think that was her favorite Lego that she got, because she got quite a few Legos. People were just buying them for her.
Yeah.
But we had a good time. It was nice. We were there from like 5 until like 9-ish. And then I had friends come out, you know, to wish her a happy birthday, and we just hung out and just chilled. So they got the igloo, and we were in the inside part of it. We took like one huge corner, and I'm telling you, that day I became a fan of funnel cake.
Oh yeah, funnel cake hit. Yeah.
And churros.
Yeah.
And theirs is like, I don't know the theme. I don't know if it's flavored, but the theme of the Sweet Spot is all pink. So when you go in there, it's just pinked out, right? The funnel cake was pink. I don't know if it was red velvet or if it had a different flavor. I don't know. But that funnel cake was so good. And it had like this caramel drizzle that you put on top. Mm-hmm. I was like, what have I been missing my whole life?
Yeah, like I literally, like, for me, when I go to like Busch Gardens or any type of theme park, even like a couple times I've been to Disney World recently, like that's like funnel cakes, turkey legs are a must at like amusement parks. Like those are like, for me,
really?
Anyway, those are hand in hand.
See,
I gotta have that.
My kids like funnel cake, so when we go to Busch Gardens, I always get them a funnel cake, and I'll taste it. But it's a funnel cake at the amusement park. It's okay to me. Mm-hmm. I'm not really a big fan of it.
Yeah.
But the funnel cake I had the other day was fire.
Yeah.
It was really
I'll have to
good.
check it out. Like I said, I haven't been. It's funny. Being in this area, and I feel like I've explored a lot of different places. I haven't been to both of those places. You said I haven't been to the Sweet Spot. I've never been there before, and I've never been to Apex either. Never been either one of those places before.
So the Sweet Spot, they have like this charcuterie board, but it's all sweets. So you have like the churros, you have these waffles.
There, that's my weakness.
You have the funnel cake, you got the donut holes, and then you get to choose what flavor you want to put in the middle of the donut hole. So it was a good, and then everybody got their own like mason jar cup thing, and it's full of whatever milkshake you want. And then theirs are extravagant, so they have like, you can get a funnel cake on top or a waffle on top or churros or cookies or whatever it is that you want, whatever sweet of your choice, pretty much. And it's huge. I mean, one of those could probably feed 2 people, I would say. It's a decent size. It's huge. I mean, it's...
You been there before, James, at all?
Nah.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
You gotta... Are you a sweets guy? You like sweets, man? That's literally my weakness, bro. It's like sweets, bro. Like
ever since I had to stop doing the PRTs for the Navy, I've been turning into a couple sweets.
Okay.
I like a little snack every now and then.
I got you.
Yeah, you definitely should go. You should take Sloan there and get the
I'll do that.
igloo.
Yeah, her birthday's coming up. We may end up trying to maybe do something, around there. It's April, so it's a couple months from now. But I may, take your idea, maybe doing something there.
The max in the igloo is 8 people.
Okay.
So it's
okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And then the kids they play. They have games in there, and then you could connect your phone to like Bluetooth and listen to music and stuff. So it's a little sweet spot.
There you go. There you go. Plug.
Putting them on, but outside of that, I mean, we got snow.
Yeah, we did.
We got a chance to go outside and play in the snow.
It was a little bit of snow. It was
it was enough to throw a snowball.
It was, but literally as soon as you go do the snowball, you see the grass. It's
right.
It was literally whoosh,
absolutely.
My daughter couldn't even really do a
snow angel because it was grass.
Yeah. She was doing it just like she was just hitting the ground. Like I was like, yo, and that's like her thing every year when we always build a snowman. So we were able to do that. You know what I mean? But it was a skinny snowman. He won't chubby. You know what I mean?
Did you see the snowman in Atlanta? Because it snowed in Atlanta, right? Yeah. And so it was people making snowmen, and then they were dressing the snowman up as little Jeezy. So they had so they put dark glasses on the snowman.
Oh, yeah. That's
they put a chain around it.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean that's just that was his nickname, Can't Man the Snowman. Yeah. That's like.
But it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So what you have going on the last couple of weeks?
Last couple of weeks has been very busy. I mean, I have my hands on some of everything. But this particular week, and actually starting today, I'm part of a Chicago-style stepping community.
Okay.
And it's a dance. It's a specific type of dance for the mature crowd. And they actually have a 4-day weekend event this weekend, starting today at Roger Brown's this evening. But so we've been gearing up for that. We went and got some nice shoes to put on.
I was about to say, you got to come proper. You got to come proper.
You got to be steppers sharp. But they have different themes for the different events that they host.
Okay.
And you have people coming from all over, from Chicago, Ohio, Maryland, Atlanta, Georgia. They all kind of come here for these type of events. It's going to be somewhere between 500 and maybe 800 people.
Oh, wow.
It's a huge event. They have it every year around this time frame. And then they have another one called the Emerald Set that comes in March.
Okay.
But those 2 events is huge for Hampton Roads, and I'm just glad to be a part of it. And that's what I've been gearing up to go partake in this weekend.
So you do a little stepping is what I'm understanding. Is that what you're saying, man? It's a little something,
just a little bit, a little bit. It's a hobby, and it's definitely very therapeutic. Dancing can be very therapeutic for a lot of people. You get out there and you learn something new. One of I coined myself 2 Left Feet James because I never really was a dancer. Right, I was always the guy that just kind of stand up on the wall.
Oh yeah.
But I always was intrigued by the style of Chicago style stepping because I'm from Chicago.
That was my next question. I was going to ask you, are you from Chicago? Is that what kind of?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so born and raised, you see at the family functions, your aunties, your uncles, your mom. My mom used to be on Chicago stepping in on Club 7 on TV when I was a kid. So looking at her and my uncles dance, and I always wanted to learn how to do it, but I couldn't quite get it. Mm-hmm. So when I became an adult and then realized it was down here, I took some classes, joined the community, and I love it.
That's what's up, man. That's cool. That's real cool, man. It's funny. So my sister, like I mentioned earlier, but my sister getting married this weekend. So we have like I said earlier, a dance that we're going to be doing. It's a new edition dance. And so it's just funny because I like to dance as well. Like growing up, I was kind of in the middle. Like I would stand on the wall sometimes, but then I would also be out there dancing. It just depends on what was going on. You know what I'm saying? But I always loved music, and music just naturally, to me, just makes you want to move. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just funny, man, just like practicing dancing and things of that nature. Like I've never actually really did that part before. I've always just kind of let the music, move me in whatever direction it does.
Right.
But actually kind of like almost like choreographing, a dance or whatever, something that me and my sister are doing. It's pretty cool, man. It's definitely pretty cool. It's definitely a good time. So I'm excited for you on that one, man. That sounds like a pretty good time, man.
Oh yeah, it's always a good time.
Yeah. What this past New Year's, I had to get together at my house and we did the Tamia. The
line dance.
Yes.
Oh yes. Yes. That's one of my favorite to watch. I still don't know how to do it.
Listen, we didn't know how to do it either. You should have saw us. We was running into each other.
Absolutely. It's a lot of twists and turns and some swaying in there.
Is.
It's a beautiful dance.
I can do all the way up until you turn. Once you turn, that's it.
That separates the ones who got
yes,
it. Yes,
it does.
Turn.
So I got all the twists and turns in the beginning, all that. But to get that first turn, and from what I hear is you turn to the direction of your right shoulder, I think, or left shoulder, one of the shoulders. I can't remember, and that's how you keep doing it. But when I'm in the midst of doing it, I can't remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then I mess it all up.
Yeah.
And I can't do any of the other dances either. I can do the cha-cha slide.
Mm.
I could kind of do the wobble, kind of. I gotta really listen. I gotta listen to the words though.
Oh yeah. Of course,
the directions right there. So
they
do.
Yeah.
But the Tamia song, there's no direction, but everybody just know how to do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I'm like you. When I get to that turn, you have to do some crossing of the legs and stuff, and that's where.
That's where, like I said,
that's the limit.
It gets real. It gets real.
Yeah. Okay. So you got that, and it's today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all at Roger Brown's?
No, it's not all at Roger Brown's.
Okay.
One event is at Roger Brown's. It's starting this evening. It's like the meet and greet. Everyone is starting to filter into the area right now, check into their hotels and whatnot. But the event is like the meet and greet at Roger Brown's this evening. But I believe it's from 7 to 11 or something like that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I think that's about the right times. And then they have, I think it's going to be downtown north of Waterside. They have a hotel where you can go down there. I'll get more specifics and I can shoot it back to you.
Okay.
Cool.
That sounds good. Yeah. So in mortgage world, there's been some good things and some bad things that has happened these past few days, right?
Yeah.
On Friday, the jobs report came in.
Yep.
And that changed our rates. I mean, rates, let's just say we were warned ahead of time to lock rates if we needed to. And thank goodness that, a lot of people responded well and actually got their rates locked, because that job report definitely increased rates for some of the buyers that are out there. But then, what was it, yesterday? The CPI report came in, and that actually changed it back and even made it even better than the rates on Friday. So that was some good and bad that happened over the last, 5 days or so.
Yeah. That was definitely, like you said, I had a couple of people who were on the fence about locking. Everyone's, hoping for better rates. And, a couple of folks were like, hey, let's wait till the inauguration, because they felt like, that's going to, have a positive wave when it comes to interest rates. But, a lot of us within the industry, we're kind of privy to like, this coming Friday, it's going to be a negative hit when it comes to rates because of the jobs report. So we were anticipating. So I was able to convince, a good amount of those loans to lock on Thursday. So, that was good. And I actually I was like, dang. And I had a buyer who was shopping who got under contract over the weekend. And so I got the contract sent to me on Monday. And it was a pretty significant purchase price. It's like $700,000. And so it was tough because we were looking at rates and stuff. Yeah, we were looking at rates and stuff like, up until that point. And then Friday kind of like changed it by like a half a point, which in their price point, it was like a $220, swing, and that was in their mind. That was significant, right? Because they were already stretching the limit with where they were beforehand. But we were able to, like you said, the CPI report came out yesterday, and rates were a lot more favorable than that. And all the loss that we received on Friday, we actually gained it back and then some. So we was able to lock them in, and they were actually being happy about it, because once the whole situation came out on Friday, And what we were looking at on Monday, they were like, hey, let's just kind of wait a little bit. And so with this positive information that changed rates, man, I mean, that was a game changer for them. So definitely happy for that.
Yeah.
But they were even looking at potentially like walking away. Like that's how serious it was when it comes to, because we were still in that
contingency period where
time
you
frame,
can,
where they're doing home inspection and all that. So they were like, I don't know that payment, Brian, because on $700,000, their payment was like $5,700. You know,
100 talking 6,000.
Yeah, exactly.
200 over.
And that number, just that 6 in front of it, it
changes things.
Like, this is too much. You know what I mean? So,
and then you also have to take into consideration, when it comes to your mortgage payment, the only thing that's fixed, right, is your principal and interest.
Yep.
So over time, if your house increases in value or if the property taxes increase, that can definitely change your rate in the future too. I mean, not your rate, but your payment in the future too.
Most definitely.
So you always have to keep that in mind that your payment's not going to be exactly the same when it comes to your taxes and your insurance.
Most definitely.
And people don't think about that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's like the gift and the curse when it comes to owning real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you want your house to grow in value. You want it to appreciate. That's why a lot of times, I know for me, I'm really bullish on real estate, as far as like buying property and putting my, whatever excess cash I have into property because, it's going to grow consistently on a year-over-year basis. If you just look at the history of real estate, I mean, it's one of the safest places to have your money. But the caveat with that is that you pay property taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, with the value of your house going up, the property tax amount goes up. So, it is like Sophia just mentioned, that's a part of what your monthly payment is. And so your payment's going to go up in those scenarios, because of the value of the home or the assets you have is growing in value as well. So it's kind of one of those necessary evils when it comes to that. So.
And speaking of insurance, did you see State Farm is kind of like the most known company that's out there that's doing this, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot of other insurance companies, but the wildfires in California, they have released people from their fire insurance on the homes. So a lot of those homes that burnt down in California, they don't even have insurance to rebuild because they were dropped from insurance within the last couple months.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's tough, man. I saw that. It's crazy. And that's something I didn't even think about as far as the event of the wildfires. We definitely want to send our thoughts and prayers out to the families that are affected by those wildfires in LA, man. I mean, that's a tough situation to be in. You know what I'm saying? Like I was, seeing the news and seeing some people who lost so much stuff within, your home that, you've had for, many years, valuables, things of that nature. And just your home,
everything.
Your home in general.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. But I mean, there was, like you said, that's crazy when it comes to the insurance part of it. Like, people, and then also what I also heard was a lot of times, because of the wildfires, you had insurance companies who wouldn't even give you insurance, for those types of homes. So it would limit, the way that you can buy that house, right? Because, most of the time when you're obtaining a mortgage, that mortgage company is going to want you to make sure you have insurance, because they want to make sure that their money's being protected in case of something like this happening. And so I was reading that, there is a good amount of people up there because of where they were located and the likelihood of it being, these types of wildfires happening, that they couldn't even, obtain insurance even when they wanted to. So not even, like you said, people who already had insurance and it was, recently dropped. You have people who actually just couldn't obtain insurance, period, even beforehand. So that's tough. And another thing that I saw about the wildfire situation as well is because you have so many people being displaced right now because of the wildfires and losing their homes, that you got a lot of like property management companies that are jacking the rent prices up as well. So
I was just about to mention that.
Yeah. And that's crazy, but that's predatory to me, man. And that's actually against the law, up there. And so they said that.
I heard that was it the governor or somebody someone who basically said, someone did something to where they tried to put caps on rent and they voted against it.
Yeah.
And so when they did that, now, like you said, they're able to increase the rent prices. And so a lot of those people who are displaced, they're probably paying, if not double, triple the amount to live in an apartment and still have to pay this mortgage for this house that burned down.
That's no longer there.
That's no longer there,
Yeah.
So, man, I just can't. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that's real tough.
You
It's a
think
tragedy.
about that?
Yes, it's a tragedy. I mean, because the home values and prices in that region is
$500,000 plus.
plus, and you talking 1,100 square feet is 500,000.
Yeah.
2-bedroom, one bath, one and a half bath.
Yep.
That's $500,000. So just imagine the people who have been living in that region for a number of years and had so much equity because they was actually going to use that to retire on.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's no longer there, and then insurance. They buy insurance to protect that asset that's no longer there, and now the insurance companies are backing out of it. I think that's criminal personally, but I mean, lawmakers they make laws for a reason. So I don't understand.
Yeah, and it's all about money, man. But as one thing that I've noticed, and growing up, becoming an adult, understanding how thing is, money rules everything, man. You always gotta follow the money because the insurance companies, they're essentially banking on hopefully people not having situations that are going to come where they have to file a claim, right? So that's the whole name of the game of insurance. You got to pay the insurance just for the if factor, right?
Just in case.
And so when when these scenarios where these houses are located in these regions where the probability of something like this happening is greater, you got these insurance companies who aren't willing to insure these homes because they know that when it comes to their bottom line and what they're trying to make or whatnot, or potentially make, it could really negatively affect that because of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you think that the reason that these things are being in place is to help you, but really it's about making money. That's just really what it comes down to. You know what I mean? If there's a situation where there's a possibility of a huge loss when it comes to that company, that insurance company's bottom line, they're not even going to put themselves in that situation. I mean, we're seeing it here too. I don't even know if you guys have experienced this, but me just as an investor, I had a house that I did in Virginia Beach not too long ago, but just the coastal, because we're a coastal state and in a, in a coastal area, it's hard to get. I mean, we're seeing a lot of the insurance premiums jump through the roof over the last year, because we're close to the water. I mean, it's and I understand, some of the rhyme and reason behind the stuff, man, but I mean, it does put a lot of things in perspective and really kind of like, you got to budget for a lot more. Like beforehand, I remember insurance kind of was almost like an afterthought. But now when it comes to like, Sophia, I think we can probably attest to this a lot on the mortgage industry, on the mortgage side, when we're trying to help somebody qualify, like insurance is moving the needle a lot as well, on top of just interest rates being higher,
Correct.
Yeah,
it sure is.
Are I mean, shoot, I remember just 2 years ago, I mean, premiums are, I mean, up 70%, from just like 2 to 3 years ago, man.
Yeah.
And some companies won't even insure the houses at all. Like, if they're close to the water, they're like, hey, we're not going to mess with it. You'll feel me. There's other companies out there that will, but that are a little bit more riskier and aggressive when it comes to that. But yeah, some companies are just not going to mess with it, man.
Yeah. And then you have some companies who won't insure it because of certain things on the house. So like, for example, if the roof looked too old, they won't insure it.
Yeah.
Or if, like, I had a friend who purchased her house in Florida because she didn't have storm windows. They doubled her premium. So it basically forced her to get all new windows just so she can have cheaper insurance.
Yeah.
And hurricane insurance and all these different insurances that they want you to pay on, flood insurance.
Yeah.
For that just in case. And you may not ever even use it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough, man. An insurance game is tough, man. We'll have to have somebody in the insurance world come on here, being that that's like a hot topic right now, Sophia.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool maybe to have somebody who's in the insurance world come on and maybe kind of speak to some of the different things that, we don't know everything because that's not our expertise, but, we know a good amount of stuff, but we'll have maybe somebody kind of uncover maybe some of the different things of why things are happening. Because I feel like a lot of people have a lot of questions on why things are being done in certain ways. So we'll have to do that.
Absolutely.
I would say on some good news, though, mortgage-wise, that I saw was the medical collections, right?
Yes.
So they recently came out, I think it was like a week ago, matter of fact, where they're no longer going to report like any type of medical, debt, on your credit report. So,
that's huge.
I think that's huge, bro. I think that's really huge, man. I mean, I think Sophia could say that
80% of our applications got unpaid medical expenses on there.
It's always up there. It's always up there. Now, it's the thing, though, like, it wasn't affecting folks' debt to income ratio. So I'll say that. So, like, if you owed a significant amount or even if you owed a little bit, it didn't affect like how much you were pre-approved for as far as like a monthly obligation towards it, but it did affect your credit profile. You know, because ultimately,
that was a negative.
Yeah, it was a derogatory item. So it was, you know, when we look at a credit report, you know, it's broken down with like your active accounts, your closed accounts, and then like your derogatory accounts. And so, you know, obviously if you owed, you know, a medical collection, it showed up under derogatory, which anytime you have an account in that derogatory, you know, bucket, then it's going to have a negative overall, you know,
impact on your score.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see that that's going away, because I think that's now going to, you know, help people, maybe people who are on the edge, on the verge, that to qualify, and maybe just that difference alone is now going to allow them to be able to qualify, which would be huge. So I'm looking to see kind of how, you know, the ripple effect of that news changing, you know, affects us and affects some buyers that maybe weren't able to qualify beforehand.
And now we don't even have to see it. That's the plus for us. You know, it doesn't even show up on a credit report anymore. So that we don't even have to address your medical,
that's true.
your unpaid medical bills, you know. So I'm actually happy that that was a decision that was made, and it seems like Biden is making quite a few decisions before he leave office, and that was a good one.
I agree. It's funny. Healthcare obviously has been a big topic recently, you know, with some of the different things that we've seen happen in the world.
Yes.
I have a funny, quick story when it comes to healthcare. I remember when I was young, just getting out of college, and my parents were trying to stress to me the importance of healthcare. And, you know, my dad, I was always covered under my dad's insurance. You know, he was previous military. So, you know, as a young kid, man, trying to figure my way, you know, through life and through my career, I didn't think it was important. I'm like, hey, I'm a healthy guy. I don't need insurance. I'm just sitting there looking at it like they're always, you know, taking it out of your check. Like, shoot, I'm okay.
I need that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I need
that $100.
That's extra money.
Some I can Jordans have
right there. Yeah, there's some J's. You know what I mean? Something, my club
21.
money. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm good, right? So my mom, I'd never forget, my mom told me, she was like, Bryan, you need to have it for just in case. I was like, all right, Mom. And I didn't do it, right? And so I was, the mortgage company that I first started with, I was, you know, there, you know, I was doing my benefits and everything. That's a conversation I had with my mother. And so the church that I grew up in, I was a part of this church softball team. And mind you, I played football my whole life. I just finished playing college football. Never had any major injuries where I needed like any surgeries or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of, you know, some, you know, nixing things or whatever throughout my years. So I'm playing church softball. I'm in, it's a Friday night during the summertime. It was in July. It was right before the 4th of July. And I remember I go and playing left field, and the person hits the ball, and it's a foul ball, but I'm still chasing after it to try to potentially catch it. And once it goes over the fence, I stop. I try to stop, and because the ground is kind of you know, a little humid and wet, I slid and I broke my ankle. Literally, my ankle went 90 degrees. It was like an L. Like, it was crazy. And the crazy thing about it was I didn't have insurance. Right. My mom had just had that conversation with me like 6 months beforehand. And it's funny, literally, when I was laying there in pain, that is the first thing that came across my brain was, and I was like, oh, damn, I ain't got no insurance, man. You know what I'm saying? So I tried to thug it out. My dad came and got me. We actually drove up to the hospital, and he can confirm this story. We drove up to the hospital, and he was like, son, you know, if we go in here, the medical bill is going to be kind of crazy. And he's like, it's on you. My dad was always like the tough, hard love kind of guy. He's like, it's on you. And I was like, you know what, let's go home. I don't want to have to pay her or whatever. So we go home, and I was living on my own at the time, but I stayed at their house that evening. And I just remember having my leg elevated, sleeping on the couch. And my ankle just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, was turning purple and all that. And so I just started screaming. I was like, And then my mom was like, boy, let's go to the hospital. You know what I mean? And so she took me to the hospital. I had to have immediate surgery. And I cast on my leg for that whole summer. I was mad because all my boys out, you know, having a good time or whatever. And so it's just funny, you know, like how a decision that I made, how that affected that, you know what I'm saying, and insurance and all that or whatever. So I'm just glad that I was able to end up paying it off. It took me a while, but I was able to pay it off, you know, a couple years after that or whatnot, man. And, you know, I got insurance ever since then. So, yeah.
Yeah, that something similar to that happened to me, except for I didn't break anything. When my mom passed away, I didn't have. Well, no, I did have medical insurance. Maybe I just was not thinking and didn't give them my medical insurance. I don't know, but I remember getting a medical bill in the mail, and I was like, "Yeah, I ain't paying that." Catch me if you can.
Catch me if you can.
You know, was in a different state. I was like, yeah, nah. He about to charge me to breathe because that's ultimately what I needed. I was having asthma attacks back to back to back, and I had to go to the hospital 3 different times to get breathing treatments. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't live here. I think I might have given my mom's address. She died.
That's crazy.
But let's just say I got almost an 800 credit score now. I pay my bills now, but when I was younger.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, most Americans, like up to about 65%, they have that same thought process because no one budgets for an injury. Nobody budgets for a hospital bill that, they're ill or something happened.
And nobody teaches you that it's important either.
They don't. So if you don't have insurance, a lot of people, they're afraid to go. They can have to be literally on their deathbed before they have to go. And then when they go, they're still kicking and screaming like, I don't want that bill, but it's a part of life.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, get these high bills and it damages their credit score, just like you said. Now that that's going away.
But let me tell you this. One thing that my financial advisor told me years ago, she said, if you ever get into a situation where you can't get health care, like life insurance type of thing, because sometimes you can be so sick that it's not even offered to you because they know that you're probably going to die soon and they don't want to pay that out, right? So what she told me was if you're in a situation where you can't get life insurance specifically, she said, you can always go and get your plot and pick out your gravesite and make payments on that. So then if something happens to you, your funeral is already paid for up front. So you don't have to put that on your family to try and figure out what to do once that time comes.
Yeah. That's funny. I've actually, for my birthday, me and my dad and my son went to a basketball game and we were driving, it was like about 3-hour drive. And so me and my dad were kind of catching up, talking about a lot of stuff. And that was some of the stuff that we actually were talking about. Like we talked about, my parents are getting up there in age. They're still relatively young, and healthy. But, we were talking about having those conversations about different plots and, where things are and making sure that I understood and knew exactly where it was. So if something were to happen, it wasn't just like, oh, man, I'm just trying to scramble and figure it out. Like I knew exactly where I needed to go. I knew where they want to be buried. I knew all of those types of situations, you know what I mean? And that is something just about planning that, a lot of people don't do. And a lot of people, especially in our community, we just don't do. We don't have these conversations, you know what I mean?
No, we don't. And I was talking to my doctor, and you know how when you go in and they ask you about your family history, and she was asking me all these questions, and she was like, it's really important for you to know, like, all the things that your family experiences. What types of cancers run in your family, what kind of medical conditions. And she was basically saying, like, because I go to a Black doctor, and she was like, a lot of people in our community, they don't even talk about all the things that is wrong with them. And she was saying that it's important for you to have those candid conversations with your family members. So then that way you can kind of trace back where some of these diseases or some of these things that you get came from. So you can know, and that's important too.
Very important.
A lot of things can be hereditary if you don't know because they're not.
You're not talking about.
You're not asking the right questions, and then your family members, they're not divulging the information. You have no idea.
Right. Yes, or even back when they didn't even go to the doctor. So now healthcare is available.
High medical bills. They
Absolutely.
don't want them. So.
I remember, man. I'm not gonna say who it is, but somebody in my family, they had like a emergency situation, and they called us to try to bring him to the hospital because they didn't want the ambulance to come and get him because of the ambulance bill. That bill is, also, expensive as well, as far as we don't have the proper coverage when it comes to insurance for it as well. So yeah, man, I mean, just like you said, I mean, those things that.
Got to plan.
Yeah, you gotta plan for it, man.
Even when it comes to the death part, you got to plan. Got to know.
Yeah. You definitely got to do that, man.
Absolutely.
So, kind of switching things up, more of a somber subject, I guess, towards the end.
Right. You could tell in our voices, it got low.
Right. Got a little low, you know what I'm saying?
Like, man.
But what I was going to say is typically when we have, a partner as yourself, James, in the real estate world come on, we always ask this question, like, what is the craziest or most unique situation that you've had to experience since you've been in the industry? Like, has there ever been a situation, or when I ask that question, is there one thing that sticks out in your brain of like, man, this was just crazy? Like maybe something that, you told your buddies or told somebody like, yo, I can't believe this happened today, So have you had a situation in your experience so far in real estate that really sticks out in your brain when it comes to something that's like, wow?
Actually, I do, and how ironic it is. It was my very first transaction.
Oh man, okay, the
So
first one,
the very first one.
You still here?
You still here?
Right,
So it wasn't that bad.
Right. But so here's the thing: when you embark on a journey in your life and you're excited about it, who the first people that you go talk to? Family and friends, right? 'Cause hey, I'm excited to be in real estate. Let me help buy you a house. I had a real good friend of mine. We were really good. We call ourselves family at times. Over 20 years.
Okay.
And I went to help my friend find a home, and we found 2 properties that met all of his criteria. Okay. But the one that he really loved, had some bubbling paint issues. It was just the fact that it was the wrong type of paint in the hallways of the house. Instead of it being a flat paint, it was an acrylic paint, so it bubbled.
Okay.
Well, he had some health issues, and I was very sensitive to that situation. He thought maybe it was moisture in the house.
Okay.
So we won the contract. I think at the time I got him a closing cost assistance, so he wasn't going to have to come out of pocket for closing costs. So I'm ramped up like, hey, this is about to be my first deal on a property. Mind you, throughout the whole transaction, I found him the property. I thought we were good. I went on family vacation. He called me back like, "Hey, I don't want the house because I think there's some issues with it." I said, "Well, let's wait for the inspection report to come back." No, I don't want to wait. So I'm on vacation in Disneyland in California, and I'm trying to find this guy another house. Well, I'm supposed to be enjoying.
So this is in Virginia.
This is
here.
Okay. The whole transaction was here in Virginia. So I'm trying to enjoy family time that I spent a lot of money on in Disneyland, and I'm actually on the computer trying to help this guy find a house. Long story short is the transaction never came to fruition because he was part of the individuals that took part of a PP loan. And he took it out on his personal cognizance as the guarantor of the loan, which killed the entire transaction. My very first deal.
Oh man, that PP loan, that got a lot of people in trouble.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
They still looking for individuals to this day.
They are. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough, man. Yeah, a lot of people are getting in trouble. I see people go to jail over it and everything like that. Right. That's crazy.
No, he was legit because he did own a legitimate business.
Yeah.
However,
it's the way that he went about it.
It's the way that he went about it and didn't let me know up front that he had done this. So it became, and he did it. He wanted to close on the house like really ASAP. So I say 21 days, which I didn't know that he had literally just took the loan out. So it hadn't even reported
on the credit report.
Credit report.
Yeah.
So we went through the entire process, and I'm waiting on a clear to close, and I get a call from the lender like, "Hey James, did you know of this situation?" I was flabbergasted, like, absolutely not.
Yeah. And
she said, "We can't close. Now he can no longer qualify." And we were looking at a house in the middle of COVID, $650,000, and all closing costs was being paid.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Yeah,
and COVID.
That's a unique situation, bro. Yeah, during COVID, like that won't.
Because we had the escalation clause included, so he won the offer, and the property appraised for more than what we offered.
Oh wow!
So he would have went into the deal with a brand new home, first time home buyer, with instant equity, zero money out of his pocket. And he would have enjoyed the benefits of almost 5 years of owning property.
So let me ask you this: did he end up buying?
He did not.
Oh.
That transaction actually killed a 20-year friendship.
What?
Absolutely.
Oh wow, for real.
Absolutely.
I was gonna ask you that. So y'all, I heard when you were explaining at the beginning, you kind of said in the past tense, like y'all ain't boys no more.
Right.
So I didn't know if this was one of the reasonings of why that was the case. Dang.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's tough, man. I'm sorry to hear about that.
My very first deal. So when you was bringing that up, I was like, yeah, I gotta do
something. Gotta divulge this.
Because it was my very first transaction. Yeah. But we have, as real estate agents and real estate professionals, we have transactions like these with family, friends, and people that we just don't know that just become regular clients.
That's right.
And we have a ton of different issues and circumstances that we endure, throughout the process. And some can be favorable, some can be unfavorable.
Yeah.
But being professional throughout the process, I think, is what's key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one, man. Yeah, that is crazy. That is
Yeah,
crazy.
to lose a friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For that long, man.
That's unfortunate.
Right.
Wow.
Did I tell you it was a $650,000 house?
You did.
Okay.
So I know that commission
That hurt
look like.
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Who ended the friendship? You or him? Look.
I was a little hurt behind that because again, I was actually on my family vacation.
Yep.
That I spent a lot of money.
I know how Disney. I know Disney World, Disney. I know that cost.
I was sending my children to the park so they can have fun while I'm inside the hotel room working,
Yep.
calling folks. It's a 3-hour time difference,
Yep.
so
Mhm.
I had to I'm
maneuver.
I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast because it's now 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock over here, and I'm working trying to get agents on the phone and also a showing agent to help my client because
That you gotta pay.
That I had to pay.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
That
was
is.
tough.
That
Definitely sorry to hear
is.
about that, man. That I can understand that, bro. I can definitely understand that, man.
That's the craziest one so far.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not too bad. At least you didn't walk in on nobody doing anything.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I've heard many horror stories and stuff like that.
Because did you see the guy in the news? I just read about it this morning. Oh my goodness. He went to a bikini coffee shop, I guess where women dressed in bikinis and serve coffee. And he pulled in a drive-thru with no pants on.
Okay. Hold on, I'm still stuck. You said there's a bikini coffee shop?
Yes. I don't know if
a
it's
Hooters
local.
for
Yes.
coffee?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
That's
and
okay.
they had a drive-thru, and he pulled in the drive-thru with no pants on, and then later committed suicide because the woman told her manager, and the manager came out and was like, "Get away from here!" And so he pulled off, and then he ended up killing himself.
Why did he? What? Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds crazy.
It's loaded.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very loaded.
Yeah, that is great. I don't even have nothing to say about it. I was still stuck on the bikini coffee shop. I was just like,
I know.
I'm just like, I guess there's a market for that. I just didn't realize.
I think it was like in California or something, so it might be a market for it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It could be. Definitely
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah, that is wild. That is very wild. So I had a question I was gonna ask. I know we talked about music and two-stepping and dancing and all that a little bit earlier, right?
Okay.
So something I seen kind of floating around on the internet, and I was like, what, I think would be a good question to ask Sophia and James. So, a lot of times they'll have like these polls, I guess you could say, or just like these scenarios, or like, hey, these are 4 people right here that kind of do the same thing. One of them got to go. Which one you taking away, right? Okay. So the one I saw floating around that kind of caught my attention was these 4 R&B singers. So they had Usher, they had R. Kelly, they had Michael Jackson, and they had Chris Brown. And so they said, out of those 4, if you had to take one away, like if their catalog, their music, like just never existed, right? Which one would that person be that you would remove?
If their catalog never existed?
Yeah, so just like they just never existed in the R&B realm at all, like, and it's to you. I mean, it's not like, it ain't like how people look at these people. These are just your preference. Like, you look at the music you listen to, you've probably listened to all of them at one point. Which one could you go without?
That's a very interesting question. Because everyone that you just named are very instrumental in the music business.
That's why, exactly. I agree.
And in their own
at different
right.
times too. If you look at like just the last like 40 years of music, like each of them had like a 8 to 10 year run where it was like they were that the person. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, and they're their GOAT in their own right based on the decade that they were performing. But for me, I'm Chi-Town to the bone. So
Kel's a stand there. That's what you said.
R. Kelly, based on musical.
That's all I'm talking about is music, bro.
Musical talent and his ingenuity when it came to that craft is untouched by any artist in history. He can do R&B. He can do hip hop. He can do inspirational songs that can touch you. It's like Sadie. That was like one of the first songs that I heard when he was with the group Public Announcement. Right. Sadie. That song came out, and that's what tuned me into him. Then he had some other songs like I Wish, I Wish, I Wish.
Yep.
You know, tapping into the community and just the outreach that he had. He wrote songs for many people. He wrote songs for 2 of the artists that's on the list. That's on the list,
yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Some of Michael Jackson's major songs, Butterfly, was written by R. Kelly.
I know. Yep.
Right. So he had a tremendous impact to the industry, and I was, hands down, I would always say that he is forever the GOAT when it comes to music.
Okay,
So
now who
go?
getting off the list?
Who got to go?
So who has to go? Well, Mike is a GOAT too. I would say that's tough. I'll say Chris Brown.
Okay.
Okay.
What you got, Sophia? I'll go last.
Okay. Speaking from my time frame, right? Because I'm not that old.
Sure.
Not saying that y'all are, but
I'm the same age as her. Like,
what are you implying?
We got grades and stuff. Like, what's going on? Throwing them subtle shots.
He's a kidney punch.
if you feel offended, I mean,
I'm just saying.
But I feel like my mom grew up on Michael Jackson, not me. Like I know Michael Jackson's music. Don't get me wrong. I know plenty of his music, but there is never really a time where I'm going to turn on Michael Jackson. Never, ever. So if I had to remove somebody from that list, even though he is the GOAT, he is very talented, I would remove Michael Jackson. I'm sorry.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt. That was a gut punch. Yeah, right? King of Pop.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Because
okay.
I actively listen to Chris Brown, Usher, and I don't really listen to R. Kelly as much anymore, but I grew up on him. He was the R&B go-to person, you know?
Sure.
So for me, for my age, my mom listened to Michael Jackson. She was into that. But when it came to R&B for me, it was those individual artists.
This is just like, that's why I pose the question, because it's everybody, has different reasons of why and who they listen to. But those 4 people all recognize that have listened to their music at one point or another. So that's why I thought it was a good question. So for me, it's funny. So we actually all 3 got different answers. So for me, the person, I actually like this person. I like all 4 of them.
Usher.
But, for me, Usher. Yeah, Usher will be the one to go. And I'll elaborate a little bit as well. So for me, R. Kelly, go. Everything you said, bro, you from the Chi. I ain't from the Chi, but I mean, just growing up, music, like I obviously the stuff he did outside that, can't condone, but strictly talking about the music, Kels is that dude. Him and Babyface, to me, are the GOATs when it comes to the R&B music and that type of music. And that's the type of music I like. I like 90s R&B. That's, if you ask me my era of music, 90s R&B, hands down. All right.
Early 2000s too.
Yeah, early 2000s as well.
Early,
Early.
05
and
02,
03.
05 and lower. Yeah, early.
So Kels, go. Michael Jackson, he's my favorite. Like Mike, like growing up when I was a kid, I know like you said, parent, that is more of 80s, 90s music, but those memories of being, me and my mom, my dad being out, deployed, being at my grandma's house and my mom playing music, us cleaning up, us just having those times. Mike was playing majority of the time. You know what I mean? And so that just, it resonates with me on a different level. And then just his songs, I like that type of music. Like even to this day, like I'll play Mike in the house or in the car if I'm feeling good. It's just a feel good music to me. You know what I'm saying? And then, so those 2, it was no question. Those was going to be, there. So to me, it came down to Chris and Usher. And I like Usher like a lot, man. Confessions album, I remember it came out my junior year in high school. Like I used to get joked because I played football and I was listening to Confessions. Like everybody else listening to music get you hype. I was listening to Confessions, bro. Like in the weight room. Like that was like no lie. Like that was a real thing. You know what I'm saying?
You got some on your chest.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But Chris Brown, man, to me, like his songs, his run. Being from Virginia, I'm from Virginia, he's from Virginia. The connection there, man. I think Chris Brown is superior to Usher in that way. I feel like Usher, I've liked some of the stuff he's come out with recently, But he's also had a time where I didn't really care for a lot of the songs he was coming out with. I felt like he was trying stuff that really won't really like him for real. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like Chris Brown has really never like had a time where he didn't miss. I feel like he's literally, since I was 17, 18 years old, and he was about the same age, we about the same age.
Yeah.
I mean, he's consistently had heat, bro. Like, I mean,
even to this day.
Even to this day. Like right now, he has songs out that I really like. And I don't even listen to music that come out right now, but him, he's one. You know what I mean? So that's why Usher just kind of defaulted and not being in you know, that's the one I guess do without, you could say. You know what I mean?
So don't get me wrong, Chris Brown, he has some cuts. Like I do remember 22, 23, actually 23, 24, being in the club and they playing Chris Brown. Yeah. And we was dancing to Chris Brown.
Absolutely. 100%.
So he definitely had a huge impact at such a young age in the whole industry. So I mean, when you said those four people, man, my heart was just like, oh my God, who do I want to eliminate? But no, just from the era that I grew up, because I'm a 70s baby.
Understood.
So the era that I grew up with, it was Michael Jackson, definitely R. Kelly, and then Usher. Yeah. Because, I mean, it's 7 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top.
Okay.
I was sold from that, you know.
Yeah.
Because I used to ride around at 7 o'clock.
You know what I'm saying? No, and you know what's funny, too? I was going to say that the first album that I ever had, I remember it was a stocking stuffer. The first album I ever had, or CD, not album, CD, whatever you want to call it. CD was My Way, Usher. My mom bought that for me. She bought me that CD, and then like after that, she bought me Destiny's Child CD as well. Just got me, I like the time, like, you know, I like R&B. And they was popping at the time, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, My Way, man, like, yeah, Usher got, I mean, again, no disrespect, man, I just feel like the longevity of their careers and the catalog and the music, like, I just couldn't imagine not being able to tap into Chris Brown stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think that was pretty good. We wrapped up a lot of stuff on this podcast, man. I appreciate you definitely coming through.
So let me pose a question.
Oh, she got a question.
All
okay.
right. So I have a question in regards to this is totally back to real estate. Nothing BS talk. Right? Okay. How do you feel, or what is your take on a property and it having solar panels?
Is that a question for me?
It's for everybody.
Okay. Well, I'll be the first to dive in. I'm a huge fan of solar panels. When I bought my first home back in 2011, I had solar panels. I had a new construction build. Within 6 months of getting moving in, I got solar panels on my house. Now I was a young guy in the Navy, living in Hawaii at the time. Energy bills were really expensive. As a single guy, but I did throw a lot of parties and had the lights going on a little bit too much, you know, and in the community that I was in. And my electric bill, I can remember was like, $250, $300 as a single guy. That's a lot. But I was in a community where there were large families, so I can just imagine what their bills were like. Yeah. So, I had a door knocker come by, gave me the sales pitch about solar. I had been looking at solar stocks about that time when it was like going with renewable energy and stuff like that. Yeah. I was kind of looking at it, paying attention to the market back then. So I took advantage of the opportunity. And then at the time they had, I think, a 22% like rebate incentive on getting the solar panels. So I bought $30,000 worth of, $28,000 worth of solar panels on a 1,900 square foot house, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. And it was my solar bill at the time, I think was like $79 or $80 over a period of 25 years. But I also received a $7,000 rebate check from getting the solar panel. So I went from paying $200, $300 in electric to a $79 solar bill. So that was cost savings for me, and I didn't have to pay anything to the electric company. Actually, I was making money from the energy company, because energy that I wasn't using was going directly to the grid. So quarterly, they sent me a check for energy
About
use.
How much was that?
It wasn't a whole lot. I mean, talking about 13 years ago. I think it was less than $100, but it was still the fact that I made money from the energy company for money for energy that they essentially got for me because they have to pay it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I'm a huge fan of solar panels. And then in that area, because energy was so expensive, it was actually a great selling point when I did sell my home. I had only the house was $625,000 when I had it built, and with less than 2 years when I sold it because I was leaving from Hawaii, I sold it for $715,000. Right. And I think my agent at the time, she said, based on the solar, that helped sell the house.
Yeah, I was a good seller feature.
It was a family that bought the house. They had three young children. Well, correction, 2 young children and then a teenager. So in that area, it was very beneficial to them because
cost savings.
Savings. Yeah. Right. When you buy your home, everybody talks about the American dream. So if you can utilize your home as the investment that it is by making it energy efficient, making it a smart home, those type of things, you're actually adding value. And this is my own opinion. You're adding value to your asset.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I agree.
They just passed. Biden just passed in August of 2022 the IRA bill.
Yep.
So they're putting $370 billion into the solar energy.
Yep.
Do you have to have a special insurance on the solar panels?
They come. That I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you need a special insurance on that.
Or is it covered under homeowners?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't have very
definitely
much experience with solar panels. I mean, obviously, I've had to navigate it, with us, how we do a mortgage and helping people. They've been headaches, a lot of times, being honest with you. Obviously, everything that you said, I mean, I think is great. Like, I think that's it's a very smart way to go about it. I think it just, when it comes to solar panels, my opinion kind of, coming over to me, I think it just depends on who you are and how you want to live. Like, it's like a lifestyle type of thing. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I feel like, certain people may look at it in the way that you look at it. Certain people may say, hey, the cost savings, the cost, like how long I'm going to live here, like the effects, because some people, it's a struggle sometimes trying to, get someone to, like, maybe pick up the bill from, that, or like have it paid off when it comes, like, because there's different ways that, depending on how that solar panel company, if they actually attach it to the property and make it, put it in a lien position. It's just different things to navigate, things to think about that, a lot of times it could have a negative or positive impact when it comes to the transition of buying and selling, a home.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But as far as you being in the home and the bill and all that, bro, that's I feel like it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And you bring up an interesting point. It's all consumer based. So basically on your specific need of, whether solar panels is going to be right or not right for your family.
Correct.
But in most cases, no, it's supposed to be a long-term investment.
100%.
So and those customers who purchase solar, if they're going to be in their home 5, 7, 10 years, it's going to be a great investment because they're just paying for equipment usage, and with the opportunity of receiving some type of rebate or incentive back from the electric company, making it their investment is making money for them.
Yeah, and you can write off some of that on taxes too. You can use tax benefit for it as
well. Definitely can do that, and I think now with the IRA bill, Inflation Reduction Act that was signed in 2022, they're going all the way up to 2035, and they just increased the incentives up to 30%. So you can get up to 30% incentives back from going solar.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a huge benefit. And if people actually take advantage of the rebate that they receive, they can actually apply that to their solar panels bill to pay it off faster.
Yep. That's a fact.
And then, people talk about resale values. Is it going to add value? It only adds value to the person who's willing to buy it.
Correct.
Right.
That's a fact.
Right. Because some families may not use a lot of energy, so it may not be of value to them.
Correct.
But if you have a large family and you have your teenagers that's gaming all day and burning electricity, you can't get anybody to turn off the light, but you're paying a low cost for equipment fees and not $200, $300, $400 a month in electric bill. Does that give value to you?
100%.
Because you're keeping money in your pocket.
100%. No, I'm with you on that, bro. 100%.
So I say it's situational based.
I agree. What about you? You have an opinion, Sofia? You posed the question.
Yeah. So for me, the math just has the math.
Math has the math.
The math has the math. It all depends on how long you're going to be in that property. It depends on what that monthly bill is, because it was $79 for you, but that was what you said 14 years ago.
Yeah,
So
2011, yes.
yeah, so now is it still $79 a month, or is it more like $200 a month? And then also, I would want to do the math, right? I would want to know, okay, how much am I saving, or if I am saving anything. I think that when it comes to solar panels on the lending side, it is a headache, especially if your house isn't appreciating in value that quickly. You were lucky. You got a $80,000 increase in value in a year or two, right? Not everybody house appreciates that quickly, right? So if you're in a situation where, let's say you buy the house in 2025 and you sell in 2027, and then in that time frame you've gotten $30,000 or $40,000 worth of solar panel loan, and when you go to sell that house, you may not be able to sell because the value or the appraised value hasn't increased that much. So you just have to really do the math and make sure that it's beneficial for you and what your lifestyle is, like you said, and what you're looking to do. If you know that you're not going to be in that home for a long time, then maybe it's not a good idea for you. But if you are going to be in that home longevity, then you just need to do the math and make sure that if you need to sell this house, how is it going to affect you? And how much are you actually saving each month? Outside of that, I mean, it is beneficial. If I can save on, an electric bill and not have to pay an electric bill, and then from what I hear, it does. Also, it can also tap into your gas. It can lower some of your other bills as well. I'm all for it. But if in the end I can't sell my house, if I need to leave in 2 years, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
Well, there's some things that we can do with, like, every case is specific, right? So what we encourage people to do is, hey, send a copy of your electric bill into us, right? Because I also promote solar.
Yeah.
Right. So you send a copy of your electric bill to us. We'll give it to the company, and they'll run numbers. They'll do a quick analysis and see how many panels that you need, all the equipment that will support your lifestyle. Because they're going to go back, 6 months or over the course of a year, look at your power usage, and then based on whatever that algorithm is, then they'll build a package that sustains your lifestyle. So you may not need $40,000 and $50,000. You can probably sustain off $20,000, right? And then they have different financing options. No money down. If people come to the table with money down, then it also lowers their monthly payments and the length of the payments over a 25-year period, which also is cost savings. Now, it's going to benefit not only that family, but if that family did have to relocate within 2 to 3 years and it's not paid off, then most times it can the new purchaser of the home can assume credit qualify, and I think the qualification is for some solar panel companies is 640.
Yeah, it matches. It pretty much matches a home loan.
Exactly. So if you qualify for your home, you typically qualify for the solar panel system.
Yeah, the issue for us that we always see though is just that, like, it's now, because sometimes people go to the max of their debt to income. You know what I'm saying? And so just now.
That's a loan that we have to add.
Yeah, we have to add that monthly
ratio.
obligation into there, because we don't have to, when it comes to qualifying, we don't have to add like electric bill like that. The utilities, that's not something that's a part of qualification. And so just the solar, and like I said, I'm just purely speaking from the mortgage aspect of it, how that could sometimes, like, I've actually had a scenario where a person, we were at the top of their budget and they bought a home or trying to buy a home with the whole solar panels, and like they couldn't buy it because of us adding, I think it was like $170 the payment was. They no longer could qualify because us adding that monthly payment in there, it put them above like now what they would qualify for. And I remember that situation. We was able to work through it, but it was very, like, I think we ended up getting like the mother as a co-signer or something. It was like it was just like a whole bunch of hoops we had to jump through to make it work. And so that obviously was just an isolated situation. So I know we can kind of speak from different examples. So that was a good question, though, Sophia. I think that was a good topic to kind of bring up and chat about.
Yeah. Well, looks like, guys, we are at the max of our time today. We went over, so I hope this was a good episode. You can follow me on social media. And you know what? We would like to thank you for coming to the podcast today.
Appreciate having me.
Before we end, would you like to let the people know where they can find you on social media?
Yes, James Jenkins Sells Homes on my Instagram, or you can look me up on Facebook, James Jenkins Realtor. I work Iron Valley Real Estate, the Allegra team. Look me up. If you have any questions regarding real estate, solar panels, please drop a comment, and I'll definitely respond to you.
All right, guys. And you know where you can follow me. I am Sophia KB on Instagram and Facebook.
Yep, and I'm Bryan Royster, so BRYAN _ Royster on Instagram, and then just Bryan Royster on Facebook.
All right. Follow us on social media at Let's Talk PD. And we thank you for listening to the podcast, and we will see you next week.
See you.
In 2 weeks.